Hi guys, welcome to another SLTD Wrestling Roundtable podcast. We are here as always. This week we're doing something a little bit different again. I don't know if you know, but we did some stuff with Progress for the last show. And we are back doing something for Progress because we just really like it. I'll be honest. I think we're slowly, well, more so. You've been a fan for ages.
Mm.
And I am obviously aware of Progress. Um, but I was never like, right, I need to watch Progress. I would go to Progress, but I would never be like, okay, I need to watch this. I'm getting to the point now where I've watched two and I'm like, right, okay, I'm in. Like
It's
this
EastEnders
is
now. You've got to watch the
yeah,
next episode.
yeah, 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 that's it, yeah. See EastEnders with less fighting. So yeah, we're back. We're doing chapter 173.
Yep.
They're Young and Invincible from Manchester. Um, it's just me and Adam today, as you know, you can see or you may have heard. Callum is off on assignment, jet set and lifestyle and all that. You know what I mean? So he's off doing something extra special. I'm
He does
sure.
what he does, doesn't he?
Yeah, kicking it with Tom Holland last time we spoke to him, eh? You know what I
So
mean?
he only
Yeah,
weighs up.
yeah. The actual Spider-Man sitting in the same room as him. Madness. Uh, how are you? You okay?
I'm good. Yeah, I look like I'm shilling the never-ending story. I look
I
like
was
I've
just
sort
about
of
to start, yeah.
popped up and gone. Here we
Is this
go.
what is this like a
Well,
big
the book is the book because I've never
yeah,
read the book, and it was a
right,
tenner on
okay.
Amazon for like a very nice and sort of like foil cover one. So I got it, and I thought
Yeah.
I'm going to put it there because it looks nice. And then
Yeah.
purely just went to work as I would do anyway, wearing this t-shirt underneath my shirt, and then sat down and went, "Oh, okay." So yeah,
It looks
but
like
yeah, I have taken the drastic decision, and we may talk more about this on the standard pods to just completely get rid of all social media. Um,
yeah, it's been a nightmare, I'll be honest with
I've
you.
I've gone. I've like legitimately gone.
Yeah. I
Like
was
I
shocked.
fully deactivated my Twitter because that
Yeah.
cesspool was not getting any better. And
Yeah.
then I moved over to Blue Sky, and then I looked at Blue Sky. I thought, I can't be asked. Like I feel like I've put like 12 years into Twitter, and I was like, I cannot be bothered starting again. I've gone from two Instagram accounts, one as like a personal one, one Farron and Film one, to just one.
Okay.
And then my Facebook deleted.
Wow.
Yep,
Facebook's a bold one to
gone,
be like
gone.
Facebook's like it's liberating taking your Facebook away. I'll
Mm,
be honest with you. Yeah, like I did it for years. Interestingly, I put my last thing up on Facebook until I came back to Facebook because I was getting loads of notifications because we obviously announced the baby. Um, so I bailed it when Trump was first president.
right, okay.
And not because he was president, more because a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's this, it shouldn't be this, blah, blah, blah." And it was like everybody had an opinion about it, and it was like it's Sally from down the road. Like, what difference does it make if Trump's in the White House and she's like, I don't believe it. It's like it's not the end of your road. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
down. Don't worry about it. So I was just like, I'm out. Like, I can't do this no more. Peace. And then I left for 7 years. Like, I didn't do it, and then now I kind of inadvertently am on it because I link me Instagram,
Yeah,
but I don't actually go on it. So when I do go on it, I've got like, oh, you've got 47 notifications, and it's
because
like,
you've been tagged in
so
this or this thing has done
yeah.
this,
So
and
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, yeah. But yeah, the X thing or the Twitter thing's a bit much. I am on SLTD's X more than anywhere else,
Mm.
and interestingly, and a nice little segue, I just see loads of progress stuff now because we either get tagged in it or it just pops up because we do get tagged in other stuff. So a lot of my feed is now just like, oh, it's progress. Oh,
Yeah,
like this is
winner.
what's happening. So at the minute, it's not so bad. But I haven't had a proper personal Twitter for years. Like I've got my Twitter, but it's just
Mm.
an extension of SLTD, really.
Yeah,
Um, you know, I haven't got like mates on there, like who are like You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like people who work with
Like
them
you're not.
that they're not on.
It comes to that point, doesn't it, when you've got like two accounts for whatever reason, where you're wondering which feed you're even looking at, and like where
Yes, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
So
and
it's
I like
not.
with my Instagrams, I had more followers on my Farringdon film one, so I was like, well, this
Oh,
will be
did
the
you? Yeah.
permanent one then. So no one's asked about
So you
me.
kept,
They're bothered about the
so you
brand.
kept fans on film and you didn't keep you.
Yeah, but it's now
Ah,
renamed as Adam X Farrand because I couldn't have Adam Farrand because some bastard's already taken it. And
was
then
it you?
no, but then my other one that had a full stop on it, I've got to wait for that to deactivate fully so I can get my full stop back.
Right. Okay.
So yeah,
Heavy.
I'm
Heavy.
Adam. I'm Adam X Farrand.
Okay. I already follow you. It's all right. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's fine. It's
So
all good. It's all good.
no difference. No change. Um. So progress. This is going to be
Progress.
different. We're there.
I
So
was
it's going to
there.
be how it's going to be when you are there because we've just been talking on our podcast about this, and you were like, "There's a certain match that was fine. That was all good. Yeah, it was a nice match." And I'm like, "That was sublime. Like it was like you need to go and watch it on demand. Like you
Yeah.
need to go and wherever you get you wherever I don't know. Do you have
Well, I've got my demand progress. So on Friday, when the director's cut version of it goes up, I'll check it out.
Yeah, I have Triller, which is where I get to like because I
So
get
with
to
with Triller, did you not have to watch it live? Could you watch it slightly later?
yes, this is why I've got Triller rather than on demand. I would like Progress on demand,
Yeah.
but to do this, I don't think I'd be able to do that. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Just because of the way they work here and all stuff like that. So I chose Triller because I work on a Sunday. So essentially, I came in from work while it was still on
Mm.
and watched from the beginning.
Right. Okay.
But I don't know if you can just watch it from
I
like
don't
seven.
think you can.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't tried that.
Right.
Um, I you can continue watching the next day on the actual live stream.
Yeah.
You can do that
Right.
because I watched last chapter 172.
Yeah.
Um, I watched half of it, and then if you remember, I had like your internet issues.
Yeah.
It went on
Yeah.
for hours. But then because it's on my Xbox, I went back on my Xbox, and then it just everything just boots up because that's what happens with an Xbox. And it was like, do you want to watch it from where you watched it? So I don't actually know. I haven't come right out of it, or I haven't started watching it when it's over yet. So I don't know if there's any difference, to be honest. I would assume so
Mm.
because of just the way it works, but I've
Yeah.
no honestly no idea. But yeah, they're the two places where you can catch it. This is definitely worth catching. I'll be honest. Before we get into this, let's do our patented review in 3 words. What have you got for me?
That main event.
Ooh, I like that. Mine would be tag team wrestling. Know what I mean?
Because there's a lot of it. There's a lot of it on this show, but I actually think a lot of varied of it,
You know what,
a lot of
right?
variety of it.
I think usually, right, here's the thing. So usually if there's a lot of tag team matches or a lot of samey matches on a card, you'd be like, oh, they're just filling out the card here,
Mm.
Jesus. But I do agree that it felt like there wasn't a lot of tag team wrestling, but I'm not saying it like tag team wrestling. I'm like like
Yeah.
Progress know how to do tag team wrestling.
Hmm.
I, like that main event, like even like subculture match, like yeah. I mean, like it was yeah.
They've
I'm a
just
big fan.
done, and this is another one to sort of plug for Progress on Demand. They've done a collection of tag team championship matches, which is looks like
Oh,
it's a good one to sort of go back and look at because it's quite interesting
yeah,
sometimes, especially if you're not savvy with it, to go and
yeah,
watch these collection. that they've put together, so that you're not
Mm.
having to sort of just go, well, I want to watch a progress show. I don't really know where to start. Actually, go and watch all the
Yeah.
collections of the matches that they put together because they've done ones of like the Atlas Championship matches, global
Yes. Yeah.
superstars, specific
They don't
superstars as
have
well.
it. Did you know during the interval,
Yeah.
that like 20-minute interview, you get loads of like adverts like that, like the
Hmm.
Atlas title, and you get like there was what did I want to watch? Noah and Dragonov.
Oh yeah,
That's
the
like
series. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I seen that and was like, Jesus, that would be good.
Stunning. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, you do get like adverts and all that stuff. So it is, you are right. It's one of them where I think starting at like 170 something
Hmm.
would be quite like not overwhelming. That's probably the wrong word. But if you want to go back, you'd be like, well, how far do I go back?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah, yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
if you have to stay in the same sort of like where you're going. Um, but I would happily go back to one, I think, and just see it grow, see it do
Mm.
its thing. Yeah, that's sorry. Let me apologise. That never happens.
I think that's
Um,
Calum replying to us,
that's
sorting the
Callum
schedule.
O'Brien. So yeah, I think yeah, I'm a fan. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'd go back to one to see what it was like, but I don't know if one would be on would be recorded. I don't know. I don't
No,
know
it
if
was. It was. I'm sure it's on there. Yeah.
yeah, I might do. I might just go and just
Just check it
like I
out.
did with the TNA one time, just like go back and
Yeah.
start at the start and see how far I get. Do you know what I mean? I basically did it with WWE and WCW as well, if you remember.
Yeah.
Uh, Not to the start, but I went to like 95 or something. I
So
like
what's the
doing that.
start?
Just
Yeah.
like, let's go, let's do this. But yeah. Anyway, um, I'm gonna throw it over. Have you got the card?
I
I've
have
got
got the
my.
card. I've got my ratings as well. Yeah.
Okay, let's do this. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
So
Let's
the
go.
first
Uh,
match was the Progress Tag Team Title match, and
yeah.
as Smoking Aces came out with the titles, I remember what you said last time, where you were like, "Those belts."
Oh, those belts. I thought again. I even said it to my wife. I was like, "Hey, these belts, like."
Those belts.
Yeah, she was just like, I don't know what you're talking about. I was just like,
But
look
then
at
that was also another match where straight away I thought of you because it was you either want to go on first or you want to go on last because I was surprised that it was open in the show. And then
me too.
straight away I was like, oh, actually it makes sense, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I didn't think that would open the show. I'll be honest with you, but
Yeah.
it was a good opener. Like it was I think subculture have got this thing where like they're really good at setting a pace.
Hmm.
And I think that if you put them on first, that sets you up to be like, right, okay, I know what I'm getting out of tonight.
Yeah.
And then it just like stacked again and again. Like it
Hmm.
got progressively better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
There were a sort of, and I referred to one match as the graveyard slot, and we'll come to that in a little bit. But it's again, it's that thing of booking a show and putting a show together where you've got to have those sort of almost like a natural. Not it sounds bad to say a natural lull, but it's like
yeah,
there's only so much that everybody can do, and
yeah,
there's only so much that you can sort of get out of a show, and you've got to sort of make sure that nothing too similar is good. Because I mean, if you'd put all the tag team matches in one half of the show, by the end of it, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my God, I'm tag teamed out," like So it's you've got to space it out. You got to
yeah,
figure it
yeah,
all out. So these guys starting again, and a championship match always gets everybody interested. I was as I always am hopeful that I'm going to see a title change, but I feel like I want that every single time I go and watch a match that's
yeah,
for a title, which obviously can't happen.
yeah.
But like Subculture are just again, they're a fantastic team. They work incredibly well together. We've seen them around NXT and NXT UK and all that kind of stuff. Them sort of going around the Indies and doing more stuff in the Indies. The interesting one is the night before at Burning Heart in Wolverhampton. Mark Andrews and Eddie Dennis won their tag titles. So me and Sam were sort of like,
Oh,
Mark Andrews can't win tag titles on back-to-back nights, can he? Surely, like it's not going to be that thing. Um, but Subculture, we went and spoke to Subculture during the intermission, and
oh,
I
did
got
you?
I
Yeah.
got a T-shirt, yeah.
Oh,
And
no.
Mark Andrews was very kind to me because I said I need to ask an awkward question. What's the biggest size that you've got in these T-shirts? The awkward question that I have to ask.
Yeah.
And he said they go up to a two, and I turned to Sam and I was like, oh, like I can get it, but it'll be a weight loss target
Yeah.
t-shirt. And Mark Andrews just looked at me and he went, "You're a 2X." And I was like, "I'm not." I wish I was.
I
But
mean, in the context of it, it
yeah,
sounds looks like 2x or like
yeah,
I'm not 2x for now, but like in the context of it, like 10
yeah.
stone less than he was.
I was a
Like
6X, so yeah, that's
that's what I mean. Like in that context, it's like she
it'll do.
2x, like fucking
It'll do.
insane.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah.
that's what I mean. Like when you're like, oh no, I'm not a 2x. Oh, it's
Oh,
like not
get me
yet.
violin out.
No, you know what I mean? Like it's not like, oh God, yeah, oh, what was
Yeah.
me? Just gonna
Oh,
go and eat a
woe,
burger.
woe is me. I'll
Yeah,
never fit into these t-shirts.
yeah. It's like in the space of how long you've lost how much.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, all right.
it's not a bad thing not to quite be in a 2x yet, let's be honest.
No.
Um
Well, they were lovely to talk to. Andrews was icing his elbow,
oh
and I was like, oh, what happened there? You know.
yeah.
But you know, everything seemed absolutely fine. Smoking Aces, I think, are a really good heel team, and they've got a lot of
So,
great moves together. Um,
yeah.
Sam made me laugh though because when he kicked the ref to sort of stop the count or whatever it was, Sam's going, "Surely that's a DQ. Surely that's a DQ." And I was like, "It's like don't DQ them. It's what they want. Carry on, carry on."
Was it? So was it like so while you were there was like obviously the first match was like the crowd proper into it because it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, it's
the first
subculture,
match.
isn't it? Yeah, yeah, they know straight off.
Yeah.
And again, I think Smoking Aces have got to a point now where, you know, the three-time Progress champions, tag team champions, and the audience know who they are. They know that they are to be despised. They know that I mean, they are to be despised. But can you stop coming out to such a banger of a remix of Pink Floyd?
Such
Like,
a good song. Like I thought this when where did we see them? Was it in Fantastica Mania?
oh yeah,
And they came out and I did the little video. And then I remember like, oh, post that. So I posted them and tagged them and was like, oh, there's a little video and that. And all I think was, where can I find that bleeding song? Like, it's such a
yeah.
good tune. Like, oh yeah.
And then
That's a banger.
that then prompted Rebecca, who was with us, to have a conversation of if you were a wrestler, what music would you come out to? What song would you come out to?
Yeah.
And it took me a while, but I landed on the
Oh, this
immigrant
was a
song.
good one.
So
What
the,
was your song?
the immigrant song by Led Zeppelin. Du- du- du-
Oh,
du- 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 du-
yeah, that's
du.
good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
What did Sam say?
Sam didn't give an answer.
Oh, that's lame.
I don't think he's still got an answer, to be honest.
That's lame.
Yeah, yeah,
Mine would be always and forever. It'd never change. Mine would be Faint by Linkin Park.
nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So the
yeah, yeah.
music comes on and you've got like the violins with the thingy, with
Hmm.
the like the like bass in the back.
Yeah,
And then yeah, and then when it kicks in, that's when I'd come out. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So it's like dun, 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 dun.
Sam's just got Linkin Park tickets.
Has he?
Yeah. I priced myself out.
How much would he?
£103 for standing.
So progress.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Uh,
Go
well,
on.
I gave this a four.
I would
Solid
say
opener.
3.5.
Okay.
Only because, not because of this is kind of a cop out a little bit, but the standard of match was really high.
Hmm.
That's what I'd say.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So that is a bit of a cop out by me, and I hate when people do that. But like these another match on the card that if I give this a four, I'd have to give that 1.6, and I can't do that. So
Okay. Okay.
going back a little bit, what did you think of Simon Miller as host?
Oh, really good. I mean, he's done it before.
Yeah.
Last time we were in Manchester, he did it. And did he do it for the? No, he didn't do it for the love of wrestling because for the love of wrestling he was wrestling on that show, so I
Right.
don't think they didn't do it. But the one before Wonder Brawl, he was host for
Oh
that
yeah.
one,
Was he?
and
Yeah.
he was host for a couple that I've been to with Amy. And I was this is the thing, like again, fully conspiracy hat on. The fact that usually the Progress show has 8 matches, 4 either side of the intermission.
Yeah.
I was sort of saying to Sam, like, he's announcing his Proteus stipulation tonight. What if it
Mm.
is an open challenge, and you end up
Ah,
with somebody who isn't on the card coming out to face him for the title,
yeah.
which obviously didn't happen, but we'll come to what happened
Yeah, what is the
when we get to
yeah,
that point.
yeah.
Um,
I liked at the start when he was talking about it and he was like, yeah, like it's suspense and all that stuff, and he was like, who knows, it could die. And then was like, that's not the stipulation.
yeah,
Like,
it's like,
like,
just
I'm
come
already
out and pin
dead.
him.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
I'd have been
already dead.
there. I were right
Yeah.
there. I would have.
Let's do it. Yes.
He spent a lot
But
of the
yeah, I
night
do
stood
like him.
next to us as well. Did old Simon Miller, so you can't complain.
Oh man, look at you.
He's shorter than I thought he would be.
Is he?
Yeah, it's still not me
I
out though, but he's short.
I don't I don't know if he's ever done this, but surely he needs some sort of Miller time merch. Like the beer Miller.
Oh right, yeah, mate, yeah, actually, yeah. At some
Surely
point,
he needs Miller time merch.
yeah.
That's a thing. Am I missing something? Has that happened? And he's
I
just
don't
gone.
think it has happened.
How's that not happened? A Miller time thing? Know what I
Pass it
mean?
to him. Pass it to him. I'll say,
I
yeah,
have to tell him. Yeah,
you
I
can
have
have
to
this
tell
one
him.
for free.
Yeah. To be fair, actually, do you know what I'd like to know? How you get a shout out? Because I want a shout out.
Well, I thought about this because who was it that got? There was the people obviously who got married. Fine, fair enough.
Yeah, yeah,
There
yeah,
was
yeah.
the University Society.
Yes.
Now, Progress have done a lot of tweeting about if you're a university student from Manchester. So I think they were edging to try and do
Yeah,
something.
yeah, that
But
makes sense.
I should have said SLT the
Yeah,
roundtable. Like we're
yeah. I just, yeah, just like them. Yeah, it'd just be nice if anyone from
Well,
Progress is
there's
listening.
another one, totally unplanned thing, right? And this is Sam's fault. Sam likes to embarrass people when he's out with people. In that, if anything is offered up, or if, for instance, if you're stood in a queue of people who are meeting a wrestler and they want a picture, he won't take the picture. He'll go, oh, this guy can do it, or this guy can do it. So we were
Yeah.
stood in the queue outside, and like a crew of people turned up with a camera and a microphone and said, "Do you mind if we ask you a couple of questions about a Kid Lycos documentary that we're doing?" And then Sam straight away was like, "Oh, he'll do it." So then I'm answering questions about Kid Lycos then.
I mean, that's not a bad thing.
It was good. It was good.
Face
But it
out
was
there.
like, I'll do
It'd
that.
be weird if he was like, "Hey, he'll do it for you," and you go, "What is it?" And you go, "Kid like us," and you go, "Ooh,
Who? Who's that guy? I very nearly wore my Kid Lycos shirt actually, so it would have
ooh."
been very apt.
That would have been, yeah. He would have just probably asked you, just being like, "Hey, you're a fan, obviously."
Say, hey.
No, yeah.
So I
There you
don't know
go.
what this shirt means actually. I just bought it.
This isn't mine. It's
This
someone
isn't
else. Someone
mine.
else, me mates.
Uh,
Next match.
Second match was Connor Mills versus Miles Kamen.
Yeah,
Now, seen both of these two before. Mills I've seen quite a bit,
yeah.
and I sort of said this to Sam and to sort of jump ahead to the result. I don't think I have ever actually seen Connor Mills win a match, and I'm sure I
Oh,
said this last time, but then I said, "Oh, did he beat Simon Miller in Manchester?" But
oh, interesting. So he never wins.
well, hang on, because things that are going to happen later in the show, interesting, you know.
Bit like,
Miles Kamen was also at For the Love of Progress in at Bowers earlier this year as well, so I saw him there. And this was a solid match between two younger guys, but it
yeah,
was a little bit slow paced compared to the other
yeah,
one.
yeah. I thought
Picked up
that.
in certain spaces, in certain spots. Um, but the heel face dynamic was very interesting in
Hmm.
that Mills comes out, he is quintessential heel. But
Yes.
I think mainly because it's Manchester and because we've seen a lot of Mills in Manchester, he's getting a babyface reaction. He's getting a face reaction. People are cheering him as opposed to Miles Kamen, who at this point is still relatively unknown in the progress scene, especially in Manchester. So
Yeah,
naturally, the
yeah.
familiarity then means that Mills is the one who's getting cheered.
Mhm.
So they sort of it was interesting to see how they sort of turned and played with that a little bit. But again, I think I would have sooner seen Mills pick the win up on this one, but it comes forward for a story that's going to come later on in terms of what he's going to do
Yeah, that's what I was
next.
gonna say. Yeah, at the time, I was. Yeah, it was a bit like that was strange because this is only Miles Cayman's second match
In
at
progress,
Progress.
yeah. So he would have had the other one at
Um,
the Goal show. Yeah.
yeah, I will say this about him, about Cayman. He's got a look about him, man.
He's got to look 100%.
Like, like there's something like there's a proper like, oh, this guy, he's a handsome bastard as well. I'll be honest with you, but
Well, I mean, straight away in terms of the heel face dynamic, it got me because there was a guy stood in front of us who, when came and walked down the steps and sort of came around the ring, this guy just all of a sudden just went, stuck his middle finger up at him. And like Miles just sort of looked at him and he was like, didn't react to it because I think
yeah,
at that
yeah,
point, obviously, if you're playing the face, you're
yeah,
not all of a sudden then going to get in a fan's face and start
yeah, yeah,
doing whatever.
yeah.
So I thought, well, part of me, honestly, I was a bit like, what did he do to deserve that? What did he do to warrant that? Like, what happened?
What is this?
What,
Let's go.
has he done something to you? Trip you up outside? What's happened?
Tipped it up to that. No, yeah, I do agree with what you said. It was a slower match, but that doesn't necessarily mean it was a bad match.
No.
Like, um, but yeah, there was definitely, I think more so than anything else taken away from that match was that there's definitely something about Cayman that I
Hmm.
was like, that is intriguing. I don't know if I say it's just like his look or the way he carries himself or what the kid's called aura. He's got a
Or
bit of
there it
that.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a bit of that about him. Like I don't know what it is, but it's like he's a dude. Him, like
Mhm.
yeah. Like next time I see him, I'll be like, oh, this guy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, which is kind of what you want when you're on your like. He's very new to progress, so that's
Hmm.
what you want is that people to be like getting sort of the idea of like who you are and what you're doing and stuff like that. Like that's what you need.
Yeah.
People like excited to see you. Do you know what I mean? So, um, but yeah, I give this 2.5.
I gave this three.
Okay.
So maybe I'm being a bit generous. The
Always.
interesting one was so there were five of us yesterday. So there's me, Sam, Rebecca, and Helen. And Rebecca and Helen have gone quite a lot with Sam to these shows.
Yeah.
And like all work at Oasis, or at least I used to. I was the odd one out. Oh. Um, but
Mm.
Rebecca had got another teacher from Oasis called Guy to come along, and it was his first wrestling show ever
All right. Ever?
ever, right? And by the end of it, it was guys a convert, guys, guys coming again. And
Wow.
that was basically it. Sold him, and it was interesting talking to him after this match because, like, he was sort of saying, um, he can, it's almost like he can tell when when some of the wrestlers have been doing it longer than others. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, you can definitely. I said because that opening tag match, obviously, you had subculture and all that kind of stuff. And he said like he could tell with the two younger ones that they were still trying to not necessarily find the feet, but they were getting used to that sort of the dynamic of the ring and the match flow and all that kind of stuff. So it was
Yeah.
interesting to sort of take a step back and look at it like that, which
Yeah.
was interest must have been interesting for him to look at anyway.
That's
But
that's
I turned to Rebecca and I said the true litmus test for Guy is going to be Gene Money, and she went, yeah, 100%.
I think it's one of them where like what you just said is like that's essentially the art of wrestling.
Yeah,
That's essentially the thing that no one gets when they don't watch wrestling. Like if you don't watch wrestling, you're just like, oh, it's just dudes jumping around and knickers.
yeah.
And you're like, you don't get it. Like, and he's took the time to get it and to be
Hmm.
like, oh, so I see which is why it's such a beautiful art form. You know what I
It is
mean?
indeed.
Yeah, yeah, I just love it. I just love it. Right, next match, next
Moth
match.
Dog versus the Experience slash
Yes,
Sam Bailey. So
yes,
I was at obvious naturally, I've been waiting for the experience. I'm gonna experience the experience. But then
experience the
that bloody Moth Dog took LA Taylor out backstage. So it
yeah,
was like, who we getting? Now, naturally, Moth Dog's entrance. First of all, it's finally happened. Session Moth, Martina, and G Money are tag team together. It
yeah, man.
finally happened. I love the fact that Will Cruz is now just still with them. And the number one uncle and the number one nephew
Yeah, yeah,
t-shirts, like
yeah,
that, them as a trio. they need to stick together for a while. It's gonna
Yeah,
be hilarious, and like
yeah,
I will get on board with them two as tag team champions if that's where we end up going. And I don't
yeah,
mean Money and Cruz, I mean Money and Martina. Like,
yeah.
let's just do it. If we're going that
Pure
way,
hot dog.
let's
Yeah,
just do it. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, so Sky Smithson comes out and she says, you took out my partner, but got a lot of friends in Manchester, including
Mm.
someone who's trained a lot of the guys. And it's always quite interesting when Sam Bailey wrestles in Manchester because what Progress do is they use local wrestlers, usually guys from Future Shock, to do the ring crew stuff. So they're the guys in the red shirts. And
All right.
like, because like ages ago, probably like on one of my first few that I went to, Ethan Allen and Luke Jacobs were red shirts. They were ring crew.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And then they had a pre-show match on one of the shows, and then they had the chapter debut on one of the shows. Like, I feel like I'm spoiling something that I was going to say later, but like, I've seen them go from ring crew to pre-show to chapter debut to main eventing in a
Wow.
Progress show in that building. So it's really intriguing to see that. Um, so like, and Sam Bailey trained a lot of them, if not all of
Yeah.
them, and to see them reacting to him and some of the stuff that he was doing, including that really nice springboard that he did, like to see the sort of ring crew go looking at each other and going, "Oh, we knew he'd do that." Like Sam's
Yeah.
showing off again. He's
Yeah.
doing this
Yeah.
thing again. But yeah, no, it was really, really good to see them. And like, there's something about Sky Smithson and LA Taylor, the experience, where I'm just like, I'm fully on board with that. And I think it
Yes.
was me making me believe that they should have won the tag titles on the last chapter.
I
Um,
mean, I marked the match down because they didn't win, I'll be honest with you. But,
yeah,
it makes it all the sweeter when
when
they
it
do.
happens, I tell
It
you what,
happens.
I was gutted that they didn't have the T-shirt with them, as in
Ah,
selling. They weren't selling it. I was like,
ah,
I was there for the T-shirt.
that's not good.
No.
That's the
Anyway,
Yeah.
uh,
I interestingly have known Sam Bailey for a very long time.
oh, here we go with his
Very
contacts.
long time. Yeah, I was in I've been to shows when we first started SLTD 12 long years ago. And he was always super nice, and he was always an absolute dude. Like, and he was always like, "We need more people like you, and we need more people to get on board with this stuff." And like, this is like what you do is like the future and stuff like that. He was like super duper nice. So anytime, I think we still follow each other on Instagram. So anytime I do like see him doing stuff, I do kind of like, it's sort of inadvertently, but it's quite nice to follow his career and what he's doing and his
Hmm.
life and stuff like that. Not that we really, well, we obviously we like the odd thing, but it's just one of the people that you see and you're like, oh, he's doing well,
Well,
he's doing,
I suppose on a similar to that, obviously you know him a little bit more and all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
But Sam Bailey was one of three wrestlers that came to school when I did a careers affair.
Oh, nice.
So well, basically in my other job at Oasis, I was teaching film studies, but I was careers lead as well. And it was my first sort of year into it, and I had a sort of line manager who was sort of head of careers, and they basically were doing a carousel event where we'd get all these employees in, and the kids would go around and they would talk to all these employers. And she said to me, and don't give me a task if you don't want me to follow through with it. She said to me, find me people, find me interesting people. We've got police officers, we've got doctors, we've got all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff. Find me
yeah.
someone different. So I was like, all right, okay. So I emailed Future Shock and I said, like, do you wanna come down? And like Sam Bailey emailed me back. Um and there was a point where I was like, I'm not sure if this is happening or not. Da, da, da. And then next thing I know, Sam Bailey's carrying a lot of extension leads through reception. Ethan Allen's holding a TV and taking that through reception. And Big Guns Joe Blazer's taking a lot of stuff through as well. And literally, they sat there and spoke with all the kids, and they had a TV playing that had like a reel of Future Shock matches and stuff like that. And then I was
Wow.
like, I remember saying to my line manager, I was like, the wrestlers are here, and she went, what? And I was like, I wasn't joking. Like the wrestlers are here. Like, they're here.
They're here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's mad. love all that. Yeah, man. You probably threw me with like your resident, like, oh, kids, yeah,
You want to be a doctor? Get to the wrestlers. You know?
yeah. I'll be a doctor. You want to see people? What? Um, yeah, bloody hell. Yeah. So Moth Dog doing the thing.
Yeah,
And
so
then
funny. So
yeah,
because like Gene just shouts in the middle of a match, and like
yeah,
he's turning to Will Cruz and he's going, "You need to be a good nephew, and you need to stay in that corner."
yeah,
And then
yeah.
like gets hip tossed by Sky Smithson, and he just goes shit in the middle of the air.
Even when he was like on the mic later on, some of the stuff he was saying, I was just like, that is proper funny.
Or
Um,
Viennetta too got a
yeah,
huge laugh.
yeah. We we when I was watching it, me little girl walked through who was 6 and was like, "Hey, are you watching this?" She was like, "This looks different," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm watching it's from Britain and it's like British wrestling," and I was like, "Guess what?" So Adam, who did the podcast with, he's there now, like it's happening right now, and she was like, "Oh my God, that's amazing! Can I have a seat? Can I look to see if I can find him?" And I was like, "Yes, sound." And she looked at the screen and was like, "Hey Dad, why has he got tape on his tits?" I was just like, don't know, I don't know.
Oh God.
Why has he got tape on his tits, Dad? No, he's just like, I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
He's just
Don't
one
know. Couldn't tell you.
likes it. He just likes it. Like that. And she was like, it's a bit weird, isn't it? And I was like, I think he's got it on there. So people say, hey, why has he got tits on it? Why has he got tape on his tits? And then the next time they see him, they're like, oh, that's the guy with tape on his tits.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why
That's
they
it
do it.
now. Yeah. Gimmick is
I was
sold.
like,
Gimmick is
oh my God. But yeah, even saying tape on it? I think that's because of Tony Storm, to be honest. Because she loves saying chin up, tits
chin up,
out.
tits out.
Yeah. But yeah, she was like, why has he got tape on his tits? I was like, I
Fair.
couldn't tell you. Rating?
3.5 I gave this one.
I give this
It was a
3.5.
very, very fun match.
It was. It was. I think
Really enjoyed it.
that's the thing with like we were talking about like tag team stuff and that, but that's the thing with this is like the this was like a fun match. It was
Mhm.
just although it was a tag and like the second tag team match, this is what we're saying where it's like on the card you sort of like you can get a bit oh God, another tag team match, but it didn't feel like that because
Yeah,
they were like very different and
it was
very
different.
like yeah, and I think there's space for everything and
Yeah.
the comedy side of things. I think that's a lot of things as well. That like when you see stuff on telly, the comedy side of things always gets a bit of a groan and a bit of like, oh, all right. But when you're in the arena, it's always like a good time. Like you're in the like you being there was probably way more funny on the
Oh yeah,
mic
yeah.
than me sitting in my living room on my own. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Because I reckon there's probably so many things that he did say, or a lot of them did say, because Martina was like on it as well,
yeah,
that probably weren't picked up by the mics, you know.
yeah.
So it adds to that little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I like all that. Match 4.
End of intermission. Karen Noir versus Charlie Evans.
Yes.
Now this is the interesting one because we were talking about this off podcast in that
Yeah.
now naturally Charlie Evans. I think it's my first time seeing Charlie Evans. She's not wrestled in Manchester since 2020,
Yeah.
and there must be some sort of story to this match that I just am not familiar with. I don't know how much of it was mentioned on commentary. I don't know how much of sort of went into it, but
Yeah, I
there
think
must
it
be
was
a
more
reason
of
why these two are facing each other.
yeah, I think the commentary was more like it wasn't so much like this big crazy vendetta and
Yeah,
like vendetta. Um
Viennetta.
Viennetta, yeah. And he's like this big massive oh not that I thought I really heard anyway. I think it was more like the idea of like an intergender match and
Mm,
it being like I feel like Carnoir is like a big deal in progress.
yeah,
Like I think he's a big deal anyway, but what I mean is he's like that sort of like what's the way like he's sort of
it's like what you're doing with Roman Reigns when he's not champion.
yes. He's like the Undertaker. He's like an attraction.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
the best way to put it.
Yeah.
So I think to get a match with him is like a cool thing. Like it's
Hmm.
like this is like a career point. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how it feels. Even only seeing like two chapters, you can tell it's like, okay, he's up there.
Yeah.
He's do
Yeah.
you know? And he's so good in the ring. Like
Mm.
he's so good. And Charlie Evans, I haven't seen wrestle before. She just took an absolute beating and keep going. Like
Yeah.
it was mad. Like, and she proper gave a beating as well. Like they were like proper going for it. There was even a point where it was like where they were sort of standing there like, just if you're gonna do it, just do it. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if you're gonna hit me, hit me. Do you know what I mean? It was like so I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting it to be that good and that well put together and yeah, I just loved everything about it, and the fact that like they mentioned a lot of, not a lot, but they mentioned like Carnival doesn't talk, but he gets everything across with what he does, and um, you can proper see that, like you proper see that like thing that he's just again he's got that aura about him that you just
Mm.
like that's there's something about him, which is why he's in the position he's in, I suppose, especially on the progress card and. Um, but yeah, I would say this was my match of the night. I would say
Interesting.
yes. I know what your match of the night is,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I would say this is probably my match of the night.
Okay.
I would I would think because it was just so good.
Because we
Like I'd
we
go
had this
downstairs and watch it now. Like
we had
it
this
was amazing.
conversation like when we were there that it was good,
Yeah,
but it just wasn't. I don't know, like it felt very slow in certain parts, and I think there were definitely bits that picked up and all this kind of stuff. And like the final stretch was really good, and there was a sequence in the middle of it which was really good. But then I don't know if, as bizarre as this might sound, it just translated better on the screen rather than in
possibly,
person, which I can't think
possibly.
of many matches that have done that.
The I think these more like how can I put it? I think these kinds of one of them things where it's like they were telling the story through all the bits in between the moves, and you
Yeah.
don't get that a lot. So when you're in the room sitting there and you're watching it in front of you, all the bits in between the moves potentially could look quite slow unless you're like
Yeah,
rinsed
possibly. Yeah. Yeah.
and you'll just see them the facial reactions and what they're doing and all that stuff. That may be not the issue because it seemed like a good match that you just were watching, but yeah, I may have seen like more of what was going on and like the thought process between the two of them, and the commentary helps a lot as well
Yeah, because
because
I
they
would
get
say that
over.
you've got additional angles that I didn't
Yeah,
have
yeah.
in that
Like I would
I,
suggest
you
going to
know,
watch it. Like I would suggest watching it back.
yeah, I will
Uh,
do. Yeah.
because it was so good. But I do know what you mean. Like it was slow, but it was, but it wasn't. It was slow, but it was you when you're watching it, you understood why it was slow and what they were doing and the like
Right.
the mechanics of it. Do you know what I mean? Like what
I
you
mean,
kind of
I
get that.
felt quite smart in myself in that I was like, oh, I know why she's targeting his ankle because he broke his
Yeah,
ankle. Like,
yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But all that stuff is like explained to you as well, and all like, and it's like,
yeah,
yeah, and then like the respect at the end when they were like,
yeah.
when
Because
they took it out.
Charlie, when she came out of the ring, she walked past us and she was visibly upset, and
Yeah,
it was like,
yeah,
emotional about it. So I
yeah.
think
I think,
I think to the people, to Tom Dawkins and
yeah,
Charlie Evans, there is more going on behind the scenes with that, I think, and them
yes,
two finally having a match together, and yeah,
yeah. I feel like that was it because you seen it at the end, and obviously he got down on his knees and bowed, and then she shook his hand, and then she like bowed, and as she lifted up, you could see that she was like, I feel like she was she wasn't upset, she was emotional.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah,
more like you could tell it was like that match meant a lot to her.
Hmm.
And I feel like that maybe part of that didn't come across while you were there, but as you say, I got like additional
Yeah, I
stuff.
am going to watch it back because I do
But
think that,
yeah, I
you know,
would say that was my match of the night. I'll be honest with
okay.
you. I am officially a massive Charlie Evans fan. I'll be honest
Okay.
with you. Like she's so like she just looks like she'd batter you, and she quite enjoy battering you.
Is she one for
No,
real?
you said that, not me. You said that.
No, well, you know.
There you go. Um,
I feel like I'm shortchanging this now, but I gave it 3.5.
okay, I gave it 4.5.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I would like to give it more, but
Yeah.
not. I'm not allowed to do that, and nothing's perfect. So
Oh,
you
so you're
know,
not going to give it a five because you won't give
no,
anything a five,
I won't
but
give it
then
anything.
you're not going to give it a 3.75 because I don't
I'm
like it.
allowed to. Yeah, yeah,
4.75 even because
yeah.
I don't like
4.5.
do seven
Yeah,
fives.
yeah. I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever seen a 5-star match. I'll be honest with you.
I have.
I'll let you. Interesting. Intermission. Yeah,
Yeah, because Simon announced that after the intermission, he was going to announce his Proteus title and all that kind of stuff. Um,
did you see the Lana Austin bit?
yes,
Right, okay. I was going
yes.
to ask you this. So yeah,
Um,
Lana Austin bit.
it was
That golden ticket at the end of the women's match would have made absolutely no
yeah,
sense. I was like, surely you've seen that.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. They showed us that, and like, I mean, her character as a heel is just like, oh well, I don't like you, Manchester. And then the
yeah,
whole thing of like, look under your seats, that made you look, and it's just, oh God,
he's like the
like,
dumbass, of course. Do you
yeah.
know what? Right, I don't think I've actually said this. I've said to you, but I've never said it on podcast. But I knew Lana Austin before she was Lana Austin. I originally met Lana, well, not Lana, um, when she was at the first ever. She was in the audience at the first ever Infinite wrestling show, and we were there as like SLTD doing that thing, blah blah blah, all that stuff, and we were talking to wrestlers, and we ended up talking to a brother, um, and that's who we went to talk to, and then she was like came over to talk to him or whatever, and then ended up talking to us like, oh yeah, I'm starting to train, I think, um, because like I love it,
Mm.
and that was that, and now. I think I followed her on Instagram and Twitter and like because we were like, yeah, we'll catch up or whatever. And then 12 years later, here she is, like winning titles and she's just so good. Like she's just
Yeah.
the character, she's just like she just gets it, man. She's just so good. Like it's nice to see her doing so well with what she does. Um, and she's such a heel. Like you just tell she loves every second of it as well. It's proper funny.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah,
This is all the
yeah,
more reason why at some point you need to come to one of these shows.
I know, I do. Well, I wanted to come to this one, didn't I? But
Yeah.
stupid wife.
Well, because so
Hey,
just to mention it now,
yeah,
the next time they're in Manchester is for the Love of
yeah,
Wrestling 3, for the Love
yes.
of Progress 3, which is on Valentine's Day. It's
Oh,
Friday
nice.
the 14th of February at Bowlers in Manchester. It's an evening show, so it starts at 8 o'clock. Because
Yeah,
we did the second one this year. But I feel like we've got to almost like pull some strings here in that surely if we can make it, if we can figure it out, we got to do
yeah,
some interviews with some people at that one, and sort
yeah.
of do some stuff. But we'll see because obviously you'll have a tiny, tiny baby at that point. Um,
Right, I do.
so yeah, so we'll
But I
see.
can't
No,
see. Yeah, after my wife pulls a blind there pushing out a watermelon, I can't see her being too loved up on Valentine's Day. I'll be honest
no,
with you.
that's the other thing as well, isn't it?
I've
So
got to think when she's like, I don't want to see your face, let alone your face holding flowers. Go
yeah,
away. So,
sod off to Manchester for a
note.
little bit.
Yeah,
Because
might spring
part of
away.
it, mainly because the times where you have come to Manchester and we've done stuff, um,
Yeah,
Rich and Thea then naturally have just gone to the Trafford Centre. Like
Yeah, yeah.
Ballers and the Trafford Centre are literally next to each other. So just
Mm.
throwing that out there, but I don't know how that'd look with a pram as well. So
Yeah, I will figure out the how it works, and we'll
we'll
definitely
go from there.
yeah.
Yeah,
But as of right this second, on the 18th of November, I do want to be there.
yeah.
We'll say that. Okay.
Okay.
There you
Never
go.
mind the fact that it's also tied in with the For the Love of Wrestling convention, which means that God knows who else you might see on that night.
Yeah, there's that.
Because when we did the Progress show, we got in there early. I mean, well, not even early. We didn't mean to get in there early, but because that the
Yeah.
convention's going on and then the show happens afterwards. By the time we got in, X-Pac was doing a in-ring thing with SoCal Val
Oh, lovely,
as
yeah.
part of the convention, so that was naturally a thing that was just happening, you know.
That's
So yeah,
yeah. We'll figure it out.
okay.
We'll figure it out. Yeah. Um,
So Simon
Back on
announced his
initially.
stipulation.
Yes, clever stipulation. I
Of
like
a
that.
stipulation.
So,
Um,
do you want? Yeah, you do it. What did he?
Yeah,
You know?
so he basically said that moving forward, anytime that he's in a match and he puts the title on the line, it will be the fans that decide the stipulation, and that'll be done through a poll. Which I thought actually in my head I was like, please God, don't tell me that he's going to go into the crowd and ask the first person what stipulation they think it should be, because like wrestling fans obviously love the sport, love the art form, love all that kind of stuff, but
Yeah.
they will also take the piss if you walked into
Yes.
a crowd and said straight off, "What match do you think this is going to be? Her versus her? That's not going to work,
Yeah.
is it?" So like
Yeah.
he's now doing
Yeah.
all of it. So it's always going to have to be an announced head of time match, and then he's going to put the poll on social media
Yes.
with
Yeah. Yeah.
options and all that kind of stuff. He
Even
was,
if he does a poll though, like, and he does like a singles match, like I don't know, a no DQ match, and then like someone gets dressed as a clown match.
yeah,
Someone gets dressed as a clown's gonna win, like
yeah, yeah.
because we're idiots. Like I'm like 99% certain that wrestling fans named Bolton McBoatface. It's got to be.
Oh,
You know what
probably.
I
You know,
mean?
yeah.
Because we love it, but what a bit stupid.
We
Like,
are we pick silly things. We That's what we do. You know,
yeah,
like
yeah,
ultimately, us picking silly things or us relying on familiarity did us a favor because, as we know, with Taboo Tuesday and stuff like that, the votes were real. The votes were real.
they were-
And
well, he did say it was going to be real. It was
had we
like,
voted for
was for real.
Edge, Edge would have won the world title that night.
Yeah,
But we
yeah.
didn't. We voted for Shawn Michaels, and that got us the rated R superstar. So sometimes it works. Sometimes it
Sometimes, sometimes,
sometimes it
only
works.
sometimes though, because that was how many years ago, and it
20.
hasn't worked out. It hasn't worked out. And once every 20 years,
Yeah.
it works out. So yeah, he's doing a poll and he's going to put it up. So I'm assuming he's going to pick a handful of matches,
I would
and then
assume so, yeah.
we pick because you can't have like no options, can you?
Like
Like
other, please specify.
yeah, yeah.
Kennel from
Like
hell.
you can't. Yeah, that doesn't really. It's dead
Dead
dog.
dogs.
It's the dead
Dead
dog.
dogs.
So yeah, I do like that. It's very fitting with what he does, and like obviously, and I like his t-shirt as well. I would potentially buy his
He's
t-shirt.
people's procious champion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. He's good, he's champion. I like that one. I just think he's just a dude, isn't he? He's just
yeah.
sound.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, interesting to see. Obviously, so we know Vendetta 2 we're getting a full way.
Hmm.
So that's like locked in.
I
But it'll
was
be
very confused when that was announced. I mean,
why?
we're kind of jumping ahead a little bit. So just before the main event, and he was about to announce the main event, Moth Dog came out and interfered and sort of interrupted him.
Yeah.
And he sort of said, because he said, I'm going to give you two options. Do you want me to face these next? Do you want me to face G Money next week? And then I thought he was going to say, or do you want me to face G Money right now? But then,
Oh,
because then he
okay.
said, "Or do you want me to face all three of them?" So then at one point I was like, "Hang on a minute, has he just put himself in a 3-on-1 handicap match for the title?" But then no, it turned into a fatal four-way for the title. And then very astutely, Will Cruz just lay down on the floor and let Martina pin him as if to go, well, we'll just do that then, you know? And I was
Yeah,
like, oh, well, yeah,
that's it.
that's cat, yeah. So I
Yeah.
just look a bit silly for doing this. I don't know. Like, because essentially he's going into a 3-on-1 handicap match.
Yeah, that's not what you need. That's not
So
what's
not for your first title defense, at least,
definitely not.
you know.
Definitely. But yeah.
Um, but anyway, so the first match after the stipulation was announced was Lycos Jim, Kid Lycos and Lycos 2 versus True and Lacey in what me and Sam refer to as a sprint. It was very quick and it was over very quickly. And they did an awful lot in a short space of time. And
Yes.
fair play to them because this was my first time seeing True and Lacey. I think they've got a really good team. They've got a really good sort of close knit thing together, and some of the moves that they were pulling off. I hope we see more of them in Progress's tag division moving
Did you
forward.
see James Drake's tweet? Do you
No, I'm
know?
not on Twitter. No,
Oh yeah. Not James Drake. Who's this is young veteran? There's James
James
Drake.
Drake. Yeah, yeah.
Thought I was getting Drake's mixed up. Um he because they did like the Doomsday thing.
Yes.
And he did a picture of them doing it and GYV doing it and being like, they don't build them like they do in the Northwest anywhere else. I was just like, that's proper nice. That's
Yeah,
Sam, isn't it?
yeah.
Like, it's a proper little
Little
nod
rub.
and that.
Yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, I fully agree. Like, I haven't seen these two. I've seen Lycos Jim, but I haven't seen True and Lacey. And yeah, I was like, yeah. This is why I said at the start, tag team wrestling, man. Like the tag team division, just from this card, if you want to look at it like that, is so good in progress.
hmm
Like it's so good. Like these, it's it's not rare, I don't think, but like to have an to have an indie promotion that has such a strong tag team that five, six, seven teams
yeah,
could easily challenge for the title, and it makes sense. And it'd be like a thing where it's like, okay, well, they won their last match, and it's like a progression thing. That's impressive.
mm.
Like that's yeah. I
Because if you
mean,
look at it, you know, you've got Smoking Aces as champions. Obviously,
yeah,
they beat Subculture. You've got Moth Dog in there. You've got the Experience in there. Lycos Jim in there. True and Lacey in there. If they wanted to, Boisterous Behavior and Young Guns
yeah,
still tag teams. You know, never mind Sunshine Machine, who weren't on this card but were
yeah,
previously there. Sanity are kicking around. So
yeah,
again, there's an awful lot that were,
yeah,
and the Eddie and Tate stuff. So.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, like
yeah,
that's the thing. It's like it's very rare that you kind of find that where it'll or like any one of them would make sense to like go into a tag team title match, and it's not like as you said last time, like there is that element of just throwing people in
mm,
because they're going to have a good match. You've got to do that, I think, just to see
yeah,
what's happening. It doesn't mean to be like a pure blood feud. That's just the way it works.
yeah,
But the tag division, you could have six or seven matches without really thinking about it. With all these people and every one of them, you'd be like, well, this is why they're there. This is
yeah,
why they're doing this. You know what I mean? So it is impressive. Like yeah, big fan, big
yeah.
fan.
Really enjoyed this match. I gave it 4.
I give it 3.5. You know what I mean?
And then after the match, Connor Mills came out, stirred
He
down
did.
Lycos, who then got attacked by Nico Angelo. And it's looking like these two are going to be a team moving forward. So there's another team to add to the list.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And it wouldn't
Know.
surprise me. I didn't know Nico. This was the thing. So like when they showed us the conversation that they had backstage,
Right.
I remember thinking, have they said his name? Because I'm not familiar with him. But I had a bit of a look on Cage Match, and he's done a lot of stuff in like Attack and other indie promotions.
Oh, right. Yeah,
Was
yeah.
in Progress before in the Natural Progression series, which is the sort of tournament that they get where they sort of give the younger stars a spotlight. But that was a couple of years ago now. So this
Yeah.
is him, I was suppose, making his debut. And then again, slightly moving on. So, when it came to Natalie Sykes and Emerson Jane,
Mm.
I was sort of stood there and I was like, "Ah, really need to go to the loo, and I don't want to do it during the main event." So I went at that point when
Yeah.
the match started. And then on the way back up the stairs, I walked and Nico Angelo walked past me. And like I said to Sam, I was like, should have asked him his name. I was like, hang on, is
He
this
looks
promoter?
massive to be
Yeah,
fair.
yeah.
Like,
But yeah, so them as a team look like they're going to
yeah.
be a sort of and again, I don't know whether or not it's going to be a vendetta match, Lycos Jim versus Mills
I
and
think
Angelo. But
possibly, yeah. I
yeah,
think it's possibility. So what did you think of the Sykes J match that
well, this is
you?
the thing. I've got to be 100% honest here. I didn't see any of it.
All right, okay,
So
all right,
literally, they came out. I went, oh, I'm just going
yeah,
to nip to the loo. Goes downstairs, goes to the loo, walks past Nico Angelo, stops to get it. Oh no, I didn't even. Did I stop? No, it was as I got through the door, bell rang,
yeah. Oh, hey, it
and I
was
was
a good
like,
match. It was, yeah.
I said to Sam, I said, what happened? Like I only went for a week.
You know
Like
what? It was quick. Like, well, it wasn't quick. No, yeah, it was pretty. Yeah, it was
it was
pretty
either
quick
that or I
actually.
got lost.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. It was pretty quick. I don't know. No, but it didn't feel quick. It didn't feel like whoa, wham, bam. What the hell just happened?
yeah.
I hadn't seen either of these. Um,
I'd seen Emerson Jane before.
Emerson Jane's really good,
Mm,
like really good. Um, they didn't like some nice little like stuff that you could tell they were like, I want to get this in, which
yeah,
sometimes is a bad thing because you want to get everything in. But you could tell he was little bits that they were like, I want to make sure I do this, I want to make sure I
yeah,
do that, which is, that's what you want. But yeah, it was one of them matches that like you're not gonna walk away from the event and be like, oh my God, that match was like the best match on the card. But it was like a nice introduction. That's
mm.
what I'd say. It was a nice introduction to both of them. Um,
'Cause it was Natalie Sykes' Progress debut as well.
was it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
and
That
I
makes more
think
sense then.
I'm
Yeah.
assuming anyway that she's Future Shock,
Right.
and because certain people reacted and knew who she was, so that's just where. And
Yeah.
usually with the Manchester shows, you tend to get the people who go to Future Shock as well. So
Yes.
I would
Yeah. Yeah.
assume that anyway. Um,
Um,
but yeah, so I
yeah.
mean, you'll have to rate it because I can't.
I will give it I'll give it 2.5.
I will go back and watch it though.
Okay. It was good. Like, as I say, it's one of the matches where you sort of it was good enough that the next time either of them
Mm,
came out or as a match, you'd be like, oh, I don't know that guy. Yeah, I know, you know what I mean? Like that's what, and again, that's what you kind of want, that introduction, and you don't want to be like, I didn't really get that. That was a bit,
yeah,
like, do you know what I mean? Which is, but then they build on that, and that's how they do it.
because this second half felt very very swift getting to
Yes,
the
I
main
was just
event.
about to say that to you. Um,
Because we were not that we were clock watching, but by the
yeah,
time it was coming to the main event, we were like, it's 5:30, and
mm,
like we're so used to progress shows possibly going on to like 7, you know,
yeah,
and
yeah.
like sort of like Sam was giddy the fact that he was getting home at like 6:30, you know, by the time it was done. But
Yeah,
yeah,
so we're up to the main event, aren't we? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, man, that's
the
mad.
0121 versus the 016 one.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Um,
I'm just gonna throw it out there. I'm assuming this is your 5-star match.
100%,
Like, because you text us
100%.
when you like
5 stars.
you walked out and you were like, please tell me you watched that. Like,
Literally,
please
I
tell
was walking out of the Ritz. Like I'd not even got outside yet, and I was texting you two, going, "Please tell me you watched that match.
me. Yeah.
Please tell
I,
me you watched that
I
match."
wasn't there yet, but I was like, I need to pay a lot of attention to this
Where
match.
where we were stood, you know, when Leon Slater did the sort of almost like a sideways 450,
Yes.
whatever it
Yeah.
was. As he, I was right there. I was
Was
right. So
she? Yeah.
when Callum said, I think I might have seen you on one of the clips on X, probably because that's where we were. We were literally
Yeah.
on that side.
I was,
So
you know
we're
what? I wasn't even looking for you because I was just watching what was going on.
yeah,
Usually,
yeah.
Usually I'd be like, "Oh, I wonder where he is," and I just went asked. I'll be honest with you. I just thought,
I reckon if you are to see me or spot me at any point, it will be during all that melee that happened at the beginning,
yeah,
where they were
yeah,
just knocking 10 bells of shit out of each other. But like, there was a point where like Leon Slater came round the ring and like just absolutely blasted Luke Jacobs in the face with a kick, and it was like, oh my God. And
yeah,
like, you can tell how much of a shining star all four of these guys have, and
yes.
they are going places, you know.
Well,
Um, and like for me, as a sort of like a ring attire lover, to see Slater come out, and I was like, oh, you can tell he's getting the TNA. Look at that! Look at that gear that he's wearing. Look at
you know
that
what I
fancy
was
gear.
thinking? Because when he came out, I was like, I know this guy, right? And I was like, I know this guy, and I know him, and I can't think what. And I was like, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna Google it because I know who he is. And then I kind of got mixed up with him and do you remember Leon Ruff?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was the North American champion or
That
something.
didn't fit him. Yeah, yeah,
And I was like, and then he did like a 450 or did something off the top rope, and I was like, no, it's not him. I was like, oh, of course, yeah. And then like, so then it kind of clicked, and I was like, oh, that's it, yeah.
yeah,
But all as you say, all four of them are
yeah.
just
This
fantastic.
match was
Like,
sublime. It was like tag team wrestling, next level. How to put
yeah,
a match together, next
yeah,
level. Like falling apart into it, really falling for the near falls as well. Because there was a point where I thought Young Guns had it, and then they didn't. The whole thing where like they ended up using the title and they stomped Doris's head on the title. I thought, right, this is it then. Um, and then the comeback, Slater pinning Jacobs
yeah,
surprised me. I
yeah.
thought like I
I think it
assumed that if
surprised
anyone,
everyone.
well, yeah, because I
You
assumed
like,
that if anyone was pinning anyone, it possibly was going to be Doris pinning Allen, if not Jacobs, to then lead
yeah,
to another match with them. So I'm assuming at this point, Slater and Jacobs, surely,
a Vendetta 2. I think that's happening.
yeah.
I would, I would say that's the main event of Vendetta 2. Yeah.
But it
And
was just, yeah,
I think man like the Reese's is gonna face
Ethan.
yeah, I think I would say so. Um yeah, it's what I'm as I say, I'm not I follow what I can follow. And I've said this last time now. Um not like when you don't watch a when you don't watch a promotion,
Mm,
but you know exactly who their champ is and what
yeah,
he's doing and the way he's doing it and the way he's carrying himself and everything else. Like you can't ask for more.
yeah,
Like and Luke Jacobs is like the future. I swear to God. So much so, in fact, like a little bit of a cheap plug here that we do SLTD awards every year, um, which you vote on, and as of right this second, it's still open, and one of the ones to watch for next year is Luke Jacobs, and it's the only time an indie person, like a British indie wrestler or any indie wrestler, has ever been on that with the ability to choose them. Um, just because he's been killing it
mm,
everywhere, like absolutely everywhere. I keep thinking he's gonna like someone's gonna pop up and it's gonna be like he's got a WWE ID thing, like contact. I would be not surprised in any way
yeah,
if he was like the guy who got that. But yeah, even the young ones and the way they like wrestle together and the way they like know each other and just everything. Yeah, everything about this match. You're right. Like it
stunning,
needs to be watched.
absolutely
It was
stunning.
just
Like,
even like all the wrestling outside as well, like all the brawling before it started and all that stuff was just like it was just boss. Like it was just
yeah.
so good. And then yeah, yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you.
For me,
Mm,
this
You
year,
know,
wrestling wise, there's like three touchstones. There's Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, main event of WrestleMania. That cinematic masterpiece of like everything that happened. Um,
yes,
there's All In. There's Bryan Danielson winning the AEW World Title, being there at Wembley, all that kind of stuff. There's
yes.
this tag match. Like
Wow.
loved it, absolutely loved it.
Hold that.
One of
Okay.
my
All right.
favorite matches of this year,
Okay.
bar none. 5 stars, easy, stunning.
We do this a lot, right? I'm gonna say 4.5 again because Tottenham's far. Um, we do like ratings and reviews of WWE stuff or now progress stuff, and we've done it for a long time. And I don't know if you've ever given a 5 out. I know what Callum has. I don't know if you have or not.
I did at Mania. I think I gave
Oh,
five to.
possibly, yeah,
I
yeah,
think I gave five to Cody Roman
yeah.
because it was Cody Roman. But then I think I did give five to Seth and Drew purely because of the whole priest cash in and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, probably yeah.
So
But
yeah,
yeah, so I don't know if yeah. That's not a
few
lot
and
of fives,
it's
that.
few and far between. It's few and far
Yeah,
between. I
telling you.
think possibly as
Telling you.
well. Money in the Bank last year, Bloodline Civil War. I think I gave five to.
Well, that doesn't matter because it's for last year, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's what I'm
but
saying.
like this year, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it isn't a lot.
it's in high esteemed company.
Yes. So overall, as you've given a 5 star out, what would you say you're giving it?
I think I'd give the whole show a four, and
I would also give the whole show a 4, I think.
definitely worth checking out.
Yeah,
And because that main event is going to be one of the ones that people are going to go back to.
yeah,
When it comes to Young Guns making their way wherever they go, when it comes to Darius and Slater making their way wherever they go, it's going to be one
yeah,
of them where it's like go back and watch this match on the Indies. Yeah.
yeah. I would say so. Um, have you got any Vendetta 2 predictions?
Well, I feel like obviously we know that the Proteus Fatal Four Way is happening.
Yeah.
They announced Kanji versus Nina Samuels, and
All right.
I wanted to say there was another one, but I cannot. Obviously, Emerson Jane versus Lana Austin
Yeah,
because Emerson got the golden ticket. I
yeah,
would assume, but then this is the thing. I think sometimes what happens is you assume that a match that is in the pipeline is then going
yeah.
to
Well,
happen
after
in the
the
very
next one.
next
Yeah,
chapter, but it doesn't always work like that.
yeah,
I believe Axel Tischer's going to be there, so something with the Atlas title is probably going to happen. But then
okay.
again, you would sort of go, right, well, surely it then means it's going to be Luke Jacobs versus Slater, or whether or not that's going to happen. It'll be
Yeah,
interesting to see what doesn't happen at Vendetta and whether or not that comes to fruition at unboxing. But obviously, the idea of unboxing is that nothing's announced ahead of time. Um,
yeah,
this one is called Unboxing the Curtain Call, so I don't know whether or not that means that Progress are sort of doing away with the unboxing gimmick, because obviously I can understand how sometimes doing a show like that, where it's like you never know what's going to happen, can have a
yeah,
negative
yeah, yeah,
connotation
yeah,
of what's going to happen and all that kind of stuff. Almost
yeah.
like there's an expectation that needs fulfilling,
Mm,
and if that expectation doesn't get fulfilled, you then end up getting negative criticism for it. In the same
yes.
way that, like, on those odd years that Big Show was number 30 in the Royal Rumble, and you're like, what do you mean it's not Goldberg? It's like, yeah. So I
What
think
a weird analogy.
no, but it's that in it. It's like who's number that year that Paul Rey Mysterio was number 30 and it wasn't Daniel Bryan and
Oh
he
yeah,
got
no shit,
booed
that
out of the place. Like,
devastating.
you know,
Shit. Yeah. Yeah. I do feel what you're saying. Yeah, I get you. We haven't got long to wait. To be fair,
it's next week.
it's next week.
Next
It's
week.
next week. What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got to go Christmas
Um.
shopping on Sunday. So
Jesus. Yeah.
I'll be rapping and watching.
We're gonna have to figure the time to do this next week as well.
Oh
Bloody
Christ,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
We'll
We
figure it
always do. It's all good. Um. Yes. So, have you got anything else to add?
out. No, I think it was a great show. It was good to be there. I'm really looking forward to doing the one in Bowlers. Hopefully you can be there and we'll
Hopefully.
do a little bit. I think ultimately for us next year, obviously we've got to work around family life and all that kind of stuff. But
Yes.
I would love to be at a progress show. Um, obviously then reviewing it and doing this stuff, but being able to talk to some of the wrestlers and getting some sort of interview bits that would be really, really good.
Definitely.
And I think
Definitely.
that's the next natural step
Yes.
that way.
Definitely. So, follow us, SLTD Wrestling, wherever you are, wherever you were. Just search for SLTD Wrestling to find us. Even on Blue Sky. We're even on Blue Sky now. We haven't done anything, but we've got a Blue Sky. Say hello. Yeah, we're everywhere and follow Progress as always. If you want to catch this or any of the other events from Progress, you can subscribe to Triller Plus. I think it's on there.
Vendetta,
Yeah.
Noir versus Vikingo.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Woo,
Because that was announced. There you go.
tick.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
Um, so yeah, you can get it on Triller Plus. But the obviously the best place to get it is
Demand
the
progress.
progress. Yeah, I always get them mixed up. Progress on demand, demand
Progress on
progress.
demand.
Yeah, I always think, and I'm like, I know it's not that demand progress. Or just go to progress.com and you'll find it there. It is well worth the money to pay
Mhm.
for it. Um, I would highly recommend it. I'll be honest with you. And we'll be back next week, I assume, to do another one. Do you know what I
Very
mean? You
soon
know
with
our
all
stuff.
sorts of end of the year content as well, you
Yeah,
know.
man, we're rocking and rolling. You wouldn't think I'm having a baby in 20 days.
We're potentially
Uh,
recording about 6 podcasts in a week
yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
to
We'll
make the
pretend.
illusion that we're not actually going
Yeah.
anywhere.
I'm hoping that when Rach goes into labour, she's in
Want to
labour for
record
about
one
four.
then? Huh?
Yeah, she's about 48 hours in labour, so I can just be like, I'll just do it in the hospital. Sad. So, it's just a dead long phone call, babe. It's sad. Don't worry
It's
about it.
fine.
Like, yeah. But yeah, as always, stay safe, stay entertained, and watch the wrestling you want to watch. But this time, watch Progress. I'm gonna catch you next time. Bye.